Hi everybody, this is Jackie Boy Sparrow, and this video was inspired by Captain Barbossa Tumbles Apples. So, hi honey. This video is to ask the Mun questions about my muse, mainly Jack and Lucy, because those are the muses I have questions for. And I, as many, if not all of you know, have a 9-month-old, so any squealing happy baby or sad baby sounds are coming from him. Alright, let's get this party started. My dearest love, Chicha, has asked me a lot of very hard questions. Alright, first, what inspired you to play Jackie? I love Jack Sparrow. I love everything about Captain Jack Sparrow. There's not a single thing about Captain Jack Sparrow I don't like, except maybe that he's not mine. So when I decided that I was going to roleplay, I thought about it for a while, and I decided, you know, Jack Sparrow is the character most like me at this point in time. He's the character I can relate to because he's the character I love the most. And in a lot of ways I am like Jack. And so I decided, you know, I want to try and see if I can compare to the perfect Johnny Depp. And I can only hope that I've done even a semblance of what he's done. Next question. Your Jack has a sensitivity that was only tapped upon a few times in both the films and the books. How do you draw inspiration to play those parts of his character? Jack is a deep character. Jack is a character with a lot of history, dark and light, and I decided to play on that history. We don't know all of it yet because, obviously, it hasn't all been written, and that's alright. But I've decided to assume that Jack's sensitivities come about because of his history, and that as he gets older, he embraces them more. I view Jack as somebody who, in his younger age, probably threw everything to the wind and decided, I'm just going to live and live and live. But as we've seen in the movies, he's been through a lot in a period of 4 or 5 years. And it's a lot that he's been through in his middle ages. So I think that Jack probably would have started rethinking his life, rethinking his choices, and rethinking his decision to throw everything to the wind. And he's decided to feel more. He's decided to act upon his feelings more. And so that is why my Jack acts upon his feelings and has them so awkwardly described. Next question. How did you define Barbossa's and Jack's relationship in the beginning of being Jack, and has it changed or been redefined? This is actually my second time being Jack. So in the beginning of this time, I had just finished reading The Price of Freedom, and I'd fallen in love with it. And the little bit in there about Barbossa telling his story of how he lost his ship and all of that just inspired me, because here was a captain that Jack hadn't been around, and Jack was 18, he was very young, and here's this captain who's lost everything and hasn't given up. He's lost everything, yes, but he's still fighting for something. And that inspired me, and I thought that it would inspire Jack as well. And I thought that that would be something that Jack would look up to, wanting so badly to be a captain himself. And so I decided that Jack would take an interest in him. And in the movies, they have such good chemistry. Jeffrey Rush and Johnny Depp just they act so well together. They really do. And I'm not saying that their chemistry in the movies was necessarily one of romance, because it wasn't. But I'm a fangirl, and I can do whatever the hell I want with my character, and I wanted my character to be in love with Hector Barbosa. And so I kind of defined their relationship as building on this admiration that Jack had for Barbosa in the beginning. And then when Barbosa becomes Jack's first mate, as something more, maybe even something akin to love, although I'm pretty sure that neither of these pirates will admit to having more than stirrings, brief stirrings, mind you, of emotion for anybody. And so I decided to roll with it. And then the betrayal of Barbosa, just him betraying Jack, would have injured Jack very much, but my Jack was still very much in love with Barbosa. So he didn't want to see this betrayal as something that was because Barbosa didn't love him, although it hurt him, and he thought that he had done something wrong. And then when he shot Barbosa at the end of Curse of the Black Pearl, I think that was a very difficult decision for Jack to make. It was a very emotional decision for him to make, and I think he regretted it. You look at Jack and Barbosa in the third movie and their dynamic in that movie, and it's changed completely from what it was in Curse of the Black Pearl. And I think that's because Jack regretted what he'd done to Barbosa, and he was trying to find a way to make it up to him without talking about his emotions, because let's face it, Jack Sparrow is a guy, and talking about emotions isn't exactly a strong point in most men. I'm not saying all men, because I've known some very emotional men, but Jack Sparrow doesn't talk about his feelings. Jack Sparrow doesn't have feelings, if you ask him. He has stirrings. And yeah. So, my favorite part about playing Jack. Chicha. I have to list one. Oh, Chicha. My favorite part about playing Jack is that he, even though he has this past that I haven't fully written up because, well, real life and other role plays take precedence, because his past isn't something I can role play necessarily. It's something I have to write by myself, and it's not the easiest thing to write. Even though he has this past, and it's a dark past, and it's not an easy past, but he can still be Jack. He can still be sarcastic and flirtatious, and he still has fun. He still has adventures. He hasn't given up on his adventures just because not all of them have been successful. In fact, most of them have not been successful. And that, I love him. Jack is resilient, and I love that about him. Okay, I'm going to go to Bosa's questions about Jack before I go to Chicha's questions about Lucy. Hi, Bosa. I love you. You're my second Bosa, but I think the depth of our character's relationship is deeper than with my first Bosa, and he was a wonderful Bosa. I just don't think we clicked as much as I click with you. Both Mun and Muse. Okay, so how or why did you choose to RP Jack was your first question. And this goes back to March of 2011, when all of a sudden I found an Ariel role player. And I followed her, and I kind of checked out what it was that she was doing and who she role played with. And, you know, she had a Flynn and she had an Eric, and if you can't figure it out by now, I am talking about our very dear Ariel in the Grotto, who I love and adore. And I decided that I wanted to roleplay with her, but I only had a personal account. So I created my first Captain Jack Sparrow. And I joined DFD. Way back in the day of the beginnings of DFD. And so Captain Jack Sparrow was born. And I left for personal reasons that May. And I stayed away for a while. I didn't recreate Jack until Valentine's Day of last year. But when I recreated Jack, it was once more because of Ariel. Because I missed role-playing with her. I missed being her Jack. I missed being able to interact with her. And the dynamic of the relationship between Ariel and Jack has changed, obviously, because the first Jack was married to her. But it's still a good relationship, I think. I mean, I need to work on being on Jack more. But Jack still loves his mermaid. And she brought him back. Alright, next question. A non-DFD member looking in wonders how Jack met Chicha. Do you want the short story or the story that Chicha and I made up? Because I'm going to tell you both. The short story is that DFD had a Valentine's Day dance last year. And Jack was moping. And Chicha told him to get over it and move on with his life. That's the short story. And that is ever so much my Chicha. And I love her for it, because if she hadn't done it, then Jack would still be moping. And he wouldn't have any of the relationships that he has now. The long story is that after Jack joined the East India Trade Company at 18, he was assigned to the governor of Port Royal, who I still haven't named, but is not Swan because he didn't become governor until Jack was at least 30. Hello, Thomas. Anyhow, the governor of Port Royal was kind of treasure happy, and he had heard of an Incan treasure in Peru that he wanted Jack to go get because he suspected Jack's pirate background. And so off Jack goes to the Andes, where he's never been before, searching for this treasure that he doesn't get to keep. And he meets a girl. He actually defended this girl from pirates and saved her life. Ironic, isn't it, that Jack would defend from pirates? But that's what happened. And that's when Jack met Chicha. And their relationship developed over a course of years, and a lot of wandering, and a few women, and several men, and Barbosa. But their relationship did develop until Jack finally decided to settle down with Chicha. And yeah, that's the Jack and Chicha story, as short as I can make it. 3 things you love about RP and 3 things you don't. I love being able to further develop these characters that somebody else has already developed. It's good practice for me as a writer, because I don't have to make these characters out of my own mind. I can take an idea that somebody else had, and I can build upon it. So that's thing number 1. Thing number 2 is I love the relationships between characters. I love watching Captain Jack Sparrow fall in love with Chicha. I love watching Gideon talking to Timothy Mouse. I love Disney magic. I'm going to sum it up as that. I love Disney magic. I love that even though Ratty... Hi, Ratty, if you watch this. Even though Ratty exists in an entirely different timeline from Jack, Ratty and Jack have a relationship. Not a particularly nice one, because we're always tormenting each other, but it's a relationship. I love that Ariel is with Reginald. I love Disney magic. So, reason number 2. And reason number 3 is it's fun. No, I'm a mother. I'm a college student. It's fun after a long day of classes and playing with Thomas and doing my stuff to come online and roleplay. It's enjoyable for me. 3 things I don't love about roleplay. I don't love that it's addicting. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 7 characters. And not a whole lot of time. But, come here, you. Everybody say hi to the monkey. My little mini-me. I am addicted to roleplay. I don't love that it's addicting. Thing number 2, I don't love losing my character inspiration. And I have. I'm struggling with Jack right now because I have other characters that have new things going on, and Jack's settled. He's a middle-aged man. He's settled. He's not out exploring the world. And so it's difficult to not let him go stagnant. And thing number 3, and everybody should listen up because I don't speak up about this a lot. I hate hate. I'm sick of it. I'm tired of a non-hate. I'm tired of non-hate. I'm tired of everybody hating on each other, picking on each other, all of it. It's not cool, people. You joined DFD or joined Tumblr or whatever for the purpose of role-playing, of pretending to be somebody else for a little while. We're actors on a computer screen. We shouldn't be hating on each other. We should be helping each other develop our characters. We should be helping each other develop relationships. We should not be hating each other. I don't care if your character doesn't like another character, or if you don't like the way another Mun roleplays. You don't hate them for it. You don't send them nasty things. You don't insult them. You just don't do it. It's not alright. I hate it. I'm done with it. And I'm sick of people picking on Chicha and on Ariel and on the trio and on all of my friends in DFD. If you want to hate on somebody, come hate on me, because I'll be a bitch right back. And here I promised that my language was going to be clean. So, yeah. Those were Bosa Monster's questions. Now on to Chicha's questions about Lucy. Okay, with Lucy being role-played as an older age, how do you think she's changed from her earlier self? Lucy, in all 3 of the movies and in the books, is a carefree, loving, happy girl. My Lucy is still carefree and loving, but she's got a bit of a darker past. She was not popular at all in her boarding school because she was so in love with Narnia that she couldn't let go of it. And that makes people pick on her. And Lucy is scared. Lucy is scared that she'll never compare to Susan. She's scared that she'll never compare to Peter or Edmund, that she's the failure among her siblings, and that the only place that she ever belonged was Narnia, and that the only place that she would ever fit in is Narnia, and she's scared of losing Narnia again. now that I've written Lucy back in Narnia, and I don't plan to change that at this point, but it might. But she's scared that she's going to lose it again, and Aslan is going to tell her that she can never go back. And it'll really happen this time. She's scared of being stuck in England where she doesn't really feel she belongs. So that's the big difference, is my Lucy is scared. Then Lucy has a relationship with a non-Narnian character after being single with no implied love interest in the books. How did the relationship start, and how does it affect Lucy's character? Oh, my Sirius. I love my Siri. I adore Siri. I adore Siri's Mun. I adore this ship. It doesn't have a name, but hey, it has a universe. The relationship started with a kiss. Lucy sent Siri one of those stupid things where you send this and my muse will kiss you, or something like that. And they'd already had a friendship. Lucy and Siri had a friendship of a few months that was just a friendship. They were curious about each other. And the kiss was something that Lucy did out of curiosity. When she felt more than curiosity, she decided to go with it. And, well, the Siriverse was born. How does it affect Lucy's character? I actually think that being as in love with Sirius as she is makes Lucy a stronger person, because she loves her siblings, and she loves Caspian, and she loves Tumnus, and she loves Aslan. But those are her family. And all of a sudden, she loves somebody out of her family, outside of her little circle, her little universe. And it scares her, but it excites her. It makes her feel more grown up, that she's fallen in love, and it gives her dreams of the future that don't necessarily have to do with ruling Narnia or just Narnia. Now her dreams have to do with other things as well, and before they didn't. They only had to do with Narnia. And so I think it gives her more depth. You know, it gives her something else that is just uniquely Lucy. And I think she needed that depth to develop as a character and not become flat and stagnant. And Siri and Lucy are forever developing and changing and doing exciting things together, and I think that was important. So yeah, those are all the questions I've gotten. If I get more, I'll make another video. I'd love to get questions about Mulan, or even about Chi-Chi and Jack's kids, even though one of them is Jack's and the other two are not, but they're still his. So I love all of you who are my followers on whatever account you're watching this on. Please come and roleplay with me, especially on Jack, because I miss Jack. I miss Jack Sparrow so much. So, yeah, I will probably make another video at some point in time. I don't know when, and I hope you enjoyed this. Laters!